Yeah, the grief that a person can feel after a narcissistic relationship or narcissistic abuse, it can be very grueling and very painful. And it's definitely not a pain that I would wish on anybody else. I would say for me, my grief after dealing with a narcissistic relationship doesn't come from me missing that person at all, because that's not the case. I don't miss them one bit. I would say that my grief comes from me losing myself along the way. And I didn't recognize who I was during the relationship and after the relationship. It's like I changed into somebody that I didn't even know. And as a person who's like really quiet and really laid back, I found myself dealing with a lot of reactive abuse from this person. For example, like the narcissist will abuse us so much. They'll poke at us, they'll verbally abuse us, they'll gaslight us and all. And then when we defend ourselves by yelling, screaming, or arguing back with them, the narcissist will make themselves into the victim and point out the way that we're reacting to them and reacting to their disrespect instead of what caused us to act like that, which was the narcissist's abusive behavior. And then also I'll say that my grief comes from how neglected and how lonely I felt during the relationship, and just how much I've asked for the bare minimum of things, and how I was made to feel like I wasn't good enough for those things, and how I was made to feel like I was asking for too much with things like talking about problems, asking for reassurance, having my feelings validated as well, and just basic things like that. And then lastly, I grieve because I feel like I let myself down some days, because I let my guard down and I was vulnerable with somebody who didn't even deserve it. And I felt like I gave away so much of my time when I was going through so much. And some days I have to apologize to myself for putting myself through something that could have been avoided, and knowing I deserve better than what I was being treated. And then knowing if I would have took the red flags for what they were, I could have avoided all this shit. And for those of you who know, like, dating after a narcissistic relationship is not easy. It's kind of like you don't even have the energy to get to know anyone. It's like you spending so much time trying to get yourself back together and trying to find yourself again. But I will say healing and grieving after a narcissistic relationship has taught me to give myself more grace than I have been, and to trust myself that I'll heal into a better person than I was before.